Welcome back, everybody, to another thrill-packed, fun, and exciting edition of Deep Recruiting. It's Wednesday afternoon, 4:10 Central Standard Time. We come at you every Wednesday with a brief tip on how you can succeed in this ever-exciting business. And it turns out today is actually International Happy Recruiting Day. It's not? Should be. Every day should be that for you. Today, what I want to cover is why are your candidates not getting hired? And this really comes from a video I watched. Somebody sent me a video of this gentleman complaining on social media that he'd been looking for a job for over 200 days, and he was flabbergasted. He'd had an internship in his chosen field. He had a side hustle in his chosen field where he's making money, and yet this guy can't get hired. Now, what was interesting to me about this particular reel or TikTok or whatever you want to call it was he actually specifically mentioned he'd had multiple interviews, or that he had had interviews. He didn't use the word multiple, but he's still unemployed. There was an undercurrent in there that I think he missed, and I think this is common with people. They don't really think about what they're saying, and that they're giving things away in what they say about what's really going on. So here's a person who's been unemployed for over 200 days. He was a fresh college graduate last year. Again, he had internships in his chosen field. He had his side hustle in his chosen field, and yet he's unable to get a job, but he's getting interviews. He's actually getting interviews, but he's not getting through the process. And what he's doing is he's blaming everybody else for why he doesn't get hired. And he's unwilling to take a step back and think, what am I doing in these interviews that is preventing me from being the candidate they want to hire? How am I not setting myself apart from the competition so that I'm the guy that they're going to select? And ultimately, that's the question you have to answer for your candidates. It's really very simple. Is your candidate worthy of you collecting your agency fee? Because if not, nobody's going to work with you. No one wants to, get from you the same candidates they can get from one of the major job boards. Why would they? They can just run an ad, spend $200, $300, $400, $500, whatever, get 500 resumes, sift through it, find the average candidate, hire the average candidate. That is not what you are in this business for. At least I hope you're not. Your job is to be able to present the top candidate possible, the best of the best. I'm working on a job requirement right now, or my team is, for a position where really nobody in this area is that qualified. We're really struggling to find a high qualified candidate for this particular role because most of the people in this area, frankly, they're just not up to snuff. My client doesn't want to settle, and they shouldn't have to. So we have to dig deeper and find the truly qualified people. So what does a truly qualified candidate really look like? Number one, they're self-aware of what they don't know. They are not always pushing, or let me put it this way, they're not always bragging that they're an expert at everything. The candidate that brags they're an expert at everything is probably an expert at nothing and probably is really bad at everything. Okay, that's number one. So there's a level of humility you need to find. There's a question, this is way outdated. It doesn't really matter anymore, but a question I used to ask when Java programming was really hot back in the 90s was, how do you restart a dead thread? Now, there were 3 candidate type answers I got. There was about 50% of the people gave me this long, detailed technical answer of how you could restart a dead thread. Then there was the group that went, you can't do that. Who are you kidding? Right? It was about 25% of the people. Then there was about 25% of the people that went, I don't think you can, I don't think you can do that. But no, what? But if no, I'd have to look it up, but I don't think you can do it. Oh my goodness, those people were gold. Those people were always gold because they knew what they knew, but they weren't willing to say something they weren't 100% sure on, right? They would tell you what they thought it was, but they also told me they were going to go look it up. The people that gave me a long technical answer, those people were always wrong because the correct answer was, you can't do it. So it didn't matter what technobabble they gave me, they were wrong. And they were being arrogant about it. And so those weren't my candidates. So the people that are arrogant about what they don't know, you want to avoid those people too. There's really a very long list of what makes a candidate placeable, what makes them worthy of you collecting a fee on. And there's a long list of the don'ts. But one of the big don'ts, I think, is self-awareness. Your candidate has to be aware of what their limitations are and where they're good and where they're not. My all-time favorite feedback from a candidate was he told me the technical questions had him literally, physically sweating during the interview. He said, and I quote, "Sweat was dripping off my brow. Those questions were so hard." And he thought he had bombed the interview. And I actually got really, really excited because I knew that was exactly the kind of candidate my client wanted to hire. Sure enough, I collected a really nice fee on that guy. And that's what you're here for. You're here to truly understand what your client wants, not something that comes from AI screening, an AI bot reading a resume. Look, all the candidates are using AI bots to write their resumes. So of course their resume is going to be perfect. It's not going to do the job. You have to do the job. You have to ask the hard questions. You can be using AI to come up with the questions, but you've got to be prepared to ask the tough questions. The questions that candidates, almost all candidates are going to trip over, the candidates that all candidates should get correct, and then the ones that are kind of in the middle. You're going to have some people get this group right. You're going to have other people get that group right. And you share those answers with your client. You let your client make the call on which answers are actually the best answers instead of you doing it. That's how you can provide an exceptional level of service. So if your candidates, if you're sending over candidates and the people you present are consistently not being hired, you really need to take a step back and look at how you're interviewing those people. Are you truly qualifying them out? Are you qualifying what's on the resume? Something I've done before is I've actually taken the portion of the resume that the candidate claimed to have accomplished at their previous place of employment. I reached out to the manager. I had the candidate's permission, of course, check a reference. And I said, hey, is the content of what they put on their resume, is that accurate? Is that correct? And the feedback came back more than once. Well, he may have done that, but he sure didn't do any of that here. What does that tell me? I don't want to represent that particular person because they're being dishonest. They're lying. So it really gets down to, are you doing a thorough job vetting your candidates? If your candidates aren't being hired, I would wager you're not. Everybody's got a picky client. Everybody complains about their client. Oh, my client has these expectations. It's ridiculous. Blah, 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 whatever. Somebody's going to fill that role. Some candidate is going to fill that role. Some agency is going to collect a fee. The real question is it going to be you or is it going to be somebody else? You don't ever want it to not be you. Excuse me. And the way you manage that is through proper questioning. That's how you do it. This has been Deep Recruiting. If you've got questions, challenges you're facing, things you want to reach out about, email us at deeprecruiting@teamgtn.com. If I choose to take your issue and talk about it next week, I can make a shout out. Don't have to do it. It's totally up to you. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got some value out of it. Maybe a swift kick in the posterior, whatever it actually is. Leave us a comment. Good, bad, negative, whatever. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. These comments are what help us build this podcast. The broader this podcast goes out, the better everybody's going to do, because a rising tide lifts all boats. I love to say that every single week. Those comments are literally that important to us. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. I'm way behind in getting those posted. I'll be trying to get to that this week. There's several episodes I've done that I need to get up. So anyway, that's all I've got for this week. Hope it's been a good week for you. Hope you're making a sale. Appreciate everybody, and have a great rest of the week. Take care.